How's everybody doing this evening? I have some music that I have to write tonight, so I figured, why not stream it? It is for an iPhone puzzle game. I actually have a melody in my head for once. I just need to find the right instrument and record it. Okay, that's about the right volume. I think I like this instrument too. Something like that. Let's see, I gotta move my piano roll over here again. Quantize everything. Let's try layering some stuff up. It's got a lot of high end, but I need more body to it. Okay, I think I'm going to layer these two channels together, but have them on two different MIDI tracks. So I'm basically doing this from scratch. I mean, I had this little melodic idea in my head, but that's really it. So you're pretty much seeing exactly the process I go through. That's a mistake, but it actually sounds kind of cool. Yeah, I like that. Nice. A little bit of EQ, get rid of any extraneous low end. Okay. And now that I have that sort of basic pattern, I want to establish a rhythm of some kind. And of course, always save. Let's see. iPhone, low difficulty 1. Let's see. It's got to have kind of an electronic feel to it. I don't really want it to be all acoustic. So I already have preloaded some channels here for kicks and snares, hats, that type of stuff. Let's see. I have a lot of drum samples. Probably too many. I'm just going to use a placeholder here. Well, I have a few. This is some samples from Groove Machine for FL Studio, and the other one was Wave Alchemy Drum Tools 01. Again, I'm just trying to get a somewhat of a rhythm. It can always be tweaked later. Something like this, I think, is probably what I'm going to do. But I really don't want it to be overbearing for this particular track. I'm going to experiment a little bit with hi-hat rhythms because I think that's going to be important for this. That kick's a little too electronic. I need something more basic, I think. Hey, Netflix. I need something with like a dead, just like a thud type of a sound. That's what I'm thinking. Let's see, maybe something from here. Yeah, it's similar to photosynthesis, that riff, but I'm going to be building on it a bit more. Yeah, FL's reverb is pretty good, but I like Art's acoustic reverb. Let me type it out. I think it's one of the better reverbs out there. Don't use Maximus too much. I use the Sound Goodizer sometimes, but that's it. The fun part here is going to be the bass line. I have something of an idea for that. Let me just get a slightly better snare. I don't really like this snare either. To have a certain amount of splash to it. So this might work. I'm also going to shape this kick a little bit. Okay. So feeling that now, I want the people making this game wanted it to have a little bit of a retro kind of chiptune element to it, which is kind of tricky because it also needs to sound organic as well. So I had an idea for a sort of a moving bass line. Where's the initialize patch? Here we go. I'm going to do this with the square wave. Maybe a little bit of pulse width modulation. Something like that. Play with that, put in another pattern. Yeah, I suck. That came out terribly. Oh, okay, it's not too bad. I might be around. Maybe. It's possible. But thanks for coming. Later. I want this to sound even wider. Here, check this out. And EQ the bass a bit too. So all this stuff is just basically carving out frequencies, right? You know, making sure everything fits. So I also want to add some pads because we sort of have chords outlined, but they're not really quite apparent yet. And I want them to be more obvious. So pads. Hello, Michael. Good to see you. Mix down before finishing the composition. I disagree. I mean, you can see here that that's basically what I'm doing. I mix as I go. I find that it's sometimes harder to use all placeholder sounds because you might, let's say you have something EQ'd poorly as you're working and it doesn't really fit, but you figure, well, I'm going to fix it later. If you go back and change the EQ later, it might actually change your choice of instrument or your choice of notes. So I feel like you have to know what instrument you're using, the notes that you're playing, that kind of stuff before you proceed. I mean, that's just my opinion, but. Oh, hey, Haroon, what's up? Yeah, that bass EQ, well, I almost always high pass the bass around 30 or 40 hertz. So I take that stuff out. It doesn't really do much. In the middle here, these are like 3-4 decibel drops from 300 to 1100 pretty much. And just to A-B it, here's without any EQ. Or here's without any EQ. There's with EQ. Essentially, it makes the sound a little bit more thin, but in my opinion, we're going to be filling up a lot of stuff in the middle, and the bass, you're more interested in the low range, the low frequencies, plus a little bit of the high sizzle. That's kind of my opinion on things, but I wouldn't necessarily do that with every instrument, but because this is a full, pretty much unfiltered wave. So now... Yeah, it's, I mean, part of it is just intuition because I've done this a lot and I know how I'm probably going to work. So I don't even think about it a lot of the time when I'm doing these EQ things. Like right here, this pad. It's massive, like low frequency buildup here. So cut that out. So here, I'll lend a little bit of insight because people ask me about this. The composition and writing, so rather than me just playing stuff in, let me explain some of my process here. Oh, real quick, Omnisphere sounds like... I use Omnisphere on almost everything, honestly. It's a really, really great plugin. So, some of my approach to writing chords, so we're in the key of D, right? So it's actually not clear whether it's major or minor. So for example, if I just play the open D, I don't hear any particular noise. I mean, it has a little bit of high frequency content, but there shouldn't really be anything. So right, it could be minor. Let's see. Is there anything I can close here? I'll close Firefox. Maybe that'll help. So if we look at it right as possibly minor. Here, this would be major. The reason that you might pick minor for this is because of that second chord. So it goes from minor to, it goes up a minor third to an F major chord, pretty much. So playing those two, it would be... But, of course, doing something like that, it's a bit basic. So what I often do with these more atmospheric tracks, taking the second, right, so using a ninth, like this. And then in addition, you can then add the seventh of the chord. So for example, actually it'd be more relevant on the second chord maybe that we're doing. No, actually I don't like the seventh there. But you could do the fourth, which would be this. So here's a second, and here's a suspended fourth. So maybe something like this. again, will take a little bit of tweaking. So usually, once I have some idea of what I want in there, I'll start manually adjusting it as I often do. So this is just going by ear, what I think sounds good. Actually, I'll repeat this. Stretch these notes out here. Honestly, this is pretty basic stuff. I mean, I wish I had quite a bit more knowledge than I actually do. Welcome. And maybe another chord here right towards the end. Actually not, I don't really like that second chord, so I'm just going to leave it like this. But this sound is not exactly what I want either. Well, I do a lot of this by ear, but it helps to know, what gives a chord a particular sound. So for example, I know that I prefer this to this or whatnot. So it helps to know, well, if you use a second, you get a more open sound, or a fourth. It helps to kind of be able to use that knowledge to say, well, if I'm looking for a more not quite sad, not quite happy, but something that leaves a bit of mystery, for example, to use seconds and fourths and that type of thing. Whereas if I wanted something very melancholy, you might add a seventh and a third, like this. So ultimately, I don't choose things just because it makes sense on paper, but because it sounds good. It's just another tool to decide what notes to put down, or rather to help inspire what notes to put down. Now, in this case, this is actually a little bit too moving. In other words, I think the chords are moving too fast. So let me see if I can just get one chord that sort of just gradually changes. Hard to say exactly what to do there. Let's see. So this is one of these decisions where I'm not exactly sure what to do. I know generally that I want a pad. I want this to be filled out more. So usually I'll try a few different patches, So maybe something like this, you know, it's tricky because at first I thought there wasn't enough movement, but playing around with it, maybe it needs actually a little bit more movement. Oh, I use pianos. Not too frequently, but I do. Going to be more of a backing element, not really a lead melody. So yeah, something like that for sort of extra melodic content. Well, in this case, what I'm doing is sort of establishing how I want the main groove to be, and then I'll maybe write more of an intro a bit later. But for now, I want to see what it's like layered up, more dense, and see what happens. That's probably in line with about where I want it to be. Depends. It usually starts with a sound. In this case, I had a little bit of a melody in my mind. I often don't, but in this case, I did. So usually sounds inspire me more than anything else. Don't forget to save. use stylus RMX for sort of filler material for the loops, or rather for the drum part. With no pad. Yeah, well, I'm using Zebra 2, Omnisphere, Stylus RMX so far, and various sample libraries. So okay, we're back. Yeah, I hate when that happens. I'm gonna save again just for good measure. Yeah, I don't know why that happens. Oh, damn it! It lost my noise loop thing. I need to add that again. I'm using a plugin called Voxengo Recorder. It outputs to a virtual stream called Virtual Audio Cable, and that goes to Procaster. There we go. I found my loop again. I just like that extra little noise in there. Way too much bass, of course, so I'm gonna cut that out. Next thing is figuring out, let's see, I'm eating dinner here at the same time. Okay, all right, let's see. Okay.